Busia Bawumia kasa na kana sembia woche mu say if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Many kasa the exchange rate is really exposing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Any exchange rate dollar sem in America there, but meka yan kasa ye maimu ye Ghana nkofu ogum exchange rate omwom no empenyimfo omwom ahemfo omwom no omo ankasa hyase expose Bawumia. You want to who say Bawumia ko fa no bia about digitalization. No one is speaking against digitalization, but ye di here and say ye di fata. Yeah, what African countries be develop picture in Ghana. They are not even talking about digitalization. They are focusing on how to build the country to a certain level before say on introduce digitalization or may introduce it. But this current government there, mama your imagine say we don't be Ghana for be so munti. Almost sorry no man fan you may be and say some of the background no dey aba. Busia, you want Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Sorry I was say digitalization. Digitalization yeni light ewo man mu me ne mukase ko pie mu okumase eko kan nsem bi a chese okotena ahemfo bi anim ewo kan digitalization mu asem ohonom na ohene ne gu ne nimas na obisa ne say what's the essence of digitalization? Oye digitalization wa abra mini light e ho fa so anything me de me hia digitalization light na me hia into light ne ba anso be digitalization mu adwuma e beji atum ye na nim say e dum so we enkoye but this current government are doing things as if say doom so. Eko oka wan asema na wakofa story bia brewa je se odwene ho kura wonte ase ba me mu kasa yedie ohene bia ba abonte a wo chemu say nyema na Bawumia eye ne de ono odwene ho wonte ase oka digitalization ho adwuma nemom no light mpo woni bi ti se woni light no what's the essence of digitalization to Ghanaians and answer to ono ohene no in general we nyoma a Bawumia face wa bra sorry ese ko digitalization ho asem actually Ashanti youth be say malikbasintale TV so we in the first number channel so bo mo subscribe if my no waste my time na busia ye hwe video no embra subscribe na share no benya video ni bi enhwe
the winners of the 7 December polls, but we are not resting, we are not being complacent. We know that we are in the race or in the contest with people who do not have fetters on their conscience, and they will do anything for power as long as it brings them power. So I want to thank every Ghanaian for keeping faith with the NDC. Having said that, I think that we should not be surprised we are in the kind of economic mess that we find ourselves because you have the NPP at the helm of affairs. Because you see, what the NPP have done over the past weeks in relation to this brouhaha in Parliament is that they have refused to show leadership. They have refused to show leadership in ways that baffles me, especially because it has to do with Parliament. And so one shouldn't have any valid expectation that much will change. So you see, in this Supreme Court decision that we anticipate they will give, ordinarily, the court will either say the speaker is right or wrong. That would have been the outcome. But already, the court has taken the position that the speaker is wrong. And so I don't know any surprises that will come out of that Supreme Court decision. If the Supreme Court comes out to say that those people have not vacated their seat, what they would have done would have been to render our constitution very useless, or the provisions of Article 97, 1, G and H, and then Articles 99 very useless. They would have set up a wrong precedent that I pray it doesn't come to bite the NPP again, because we are where we are because of the precedent they have set. And now they're seeking to set another precedent with the Supreme Court. We in the NDC are certain in our mind that some 27 days into a main election, there isn't much the NPP can do, because for 8 years, they haven't been able to do anything. So what they could not do in 8 years, I doubt they can do in 27 days or even less. But on this note, I want to say that every Ghanaian must celebrate Speaker Bawumia. The Right Honorable Speaker has demonstrated the highest level of leadership. In fact, you could see that even the Supreme Court was very worried because they kept saying Ghana is in a constitutional crisis, and the Chief Justice was practically emotional. Why is Parliament not sitting? As if the case before her was to get Parliament to sit. But the Speaker has navigated this matter in a very sophisticated manner that I think that we ought to salute him.
But I think when she mentioned that they were in crisis, she was not updated at that time
About
that it was a lack of quorum that made Parliament.
And you don't say
so
that.
She was prompted and she took it back.
If you say that, you would rather be indicting the Chief Justice the more, because on the fact of the matter before her, she ought to know everything. So if you say that she was, no, I don't think she was very updated. I mean, to be fair to her, she was very updated.
I think you're being fair to her.
Oh no, this morning, don't set the Chief Justice. She was very updated. If you say that she had no knowledge of certain things, no. She knew. Unless you want to tell me that the Chief Justice does not appreciate the workings of Parliament.
But she can't know everything into detail.
Oh no, she knows everything. Oh, she knows it. So she knows it. But the point I'm making is that the Speaker ought to be celebrated. The Speaker has navigated this thing so beautifully that even when a lot of constitutional law experts thought that there could be a constitutional crisis, we don't have one. What we have now is Afenyo Markin, who is so obsessed with his title minority leader or majority leader, and so obsessed about chairs. So the MPP's problem today as we speak is not because the seats have been declared vacant or otherwise. Their problem is that they don't have chairs to sit on. That is basically the problem. Or do you see another problem? Is there any other problem? Because you see, these guys want to use propaganda, but they must know that Ghanaians have seen through them. First of all, after all the hustle and bustle, you people petitioned the Speaker to reconvene Parliament. What did the Speaker do? The Speaker obliged and actually issued a notice for Parliament to sit, and also give the timing for sitting as 10 a.m. When it was 10 a.m., some members like Kennedy Japan, Apia Kubi, Atachia said that they came into the chambers only to be told that the MPP Parliamentary Caucus is holding a meeting they were not aware of. So they walked into the house only to be told that you were holding a meeting. And they held the meeting so long that even after 10:30, they could not finish holding the meeting and coming back. And you know, they want to blackmail everybody and say, you know, what is happening is because the NDC doesn't want the free SHS bill to pass. Please, let me state on authority that in that petition presented to the Speaker requesting that Parliament should sit, there was no way that the MPP said that they wanted to present a bill for free SHS. In fact, there is nowhere that they even stated that they wanted to present the airlife, which gives them the power to do galamsey in water bodies and forest reserve, to revoke it. They did not have these two things they are telling the public in the official records presented to Parliament as the reason
for triggering Parliament
yes,
recall.
And they were not even present. And you could see that even at the time Afenyomankin was addressing the press, look at the number of MPs behind him. Less than 30. These guys have never been serious with our governance issue. And you would think this is just parliamentary. Let me take you back to when Dr. Bawumia held the Meet the Press. A journalist asked him about the cocoa industry. I mean, if you understand our economy well, cocoa and oil, and then the last one, gold, are the three things that you can say that hold this economy. A whole vice president who is the head of the economic management team did not know anything that was happening in the cocoa industry. And yet they'll come out to tell you that he has a bold solution, but certainly it doesn't cover cocoa. These guys have checked out. They certainly don't care about what happens by way of our welfare and governance. It has to be about the next election. So even if the country will collapse for the next election, they don't care. They just have a strategy of having a different narrative in the media. Because how is it that somebody like Afenyomankin can address the media and lie that, oh, the NDC doesn't want parliamentary business to proceed because there is a free SHS bill. This morning, let me tell every viewer that do not let the NPP blackmail you with the free SHS and say that it's the remedy to everything. And so when they are misbehaving, when they are mismanaging the economy, when food prices are high, when we cannot get beds in our hospital, when our children cannot get food, when pensioners are dying because this government has painfully taken away their monies, they tell you that the reason why they cannot do anything they have to do is free SHS. And you see, even now, they have run away from their own digitalization agenda to free SHS.
Oh, how? No.
Oh, now, what was the last time you heard? The last time Bawumia was somewhere in Ashanti region, the chief told him that I don't have electricity here. So if I don't have electricity here, what is digitalization to me? It's of no relevance to me. We must hold the NPP to strict account. Everything that is happening in Parliament is not the doing of the Speaker. First of all, the Speaker didn't go to court. They went to court. They even have the privilege of getting the court to sit in record time. You know, when you file a motion, I don't know how even the Chief Justice gets to know that there is something so urgent that they have to bath and come. So they have a record time of getting the court to do their bidding and get them to give a ruling that some way, somehow, they can foresee the outcome immediately they file. What they are doing is gaslighting the people for their negligence. It is so bad that organized labor was told, do not go on strike. Keep faith with us. Respect our words because we are going to revoke this LI. When it came to the most critical time, they did nothing about it. They say that, you know what, we need to give the free SHS a legal backing. When it came to the time, you presented nothing. And yet you come into the public and you speak this way. But in concluding, I want to say that the Speaker has shown that, like he said, strong men do not have to come in uniforms alone. The Speaker has shown that we can stand up to people who think that they can use and misinterpret the Constitution to suit their whims and caprices. The Speaker has again shown that when we talk about separation of powers, indeed separation of powers ought to exist. I remember he saying that he wishes for a time when Parliament will not be subjected to the whims and caprices of those at the Flagstaff House. And we all pray for that time. Because you see, this morning...
Is it not very difficult to draw that line? I mean, yes, they all have their own separation of powers.
We've always been drawing that line.
Yes, but we cannot also overlook the superiority of the judiciary.
There is no superiority. That statement you should withdraw.
Why?
There is nothing in democracy like superiority of the judiciary.
No, unless maybe you don't want to take it from that angle.
It's not angle.
Hold on. When the judiciary interprets the constitution or a law, an article for us, you cannot say that because of separation of powers.
It is not.
You can't say that because of separation of power, you not go by the interpretation.
No,
that one is not allowed.
It is not because of the superiority of the judiciary. It is because the constitution says so.
Yes.
Yes. So
the point I'm making is
constitution.
So exactly. So the
that
point,
is why
so the argument I'm making is that the constitution gives that supremacy to judiciary.
No, the constitution does not give. And this one, I don't want to go into law lecturing.
No,
the constitution
no, Beatrice, this is not about. No, hold on, Beatrice. Let's not act like it's just.
No, it's not. So maybe the choice of words.
Maybe you have a problem with the choice of words, but I'm saying that
the tenets of democracy and constitutionalism is that you have to rule according to the constitution. So your source of power is derived from the constitution. That is why when the constitution says that you must appoint majority of ministers from parliament, if you decide to appoint 126 like this government did, then you have to, nobody say what constitutes majority. What constitutes majority? At least
your numbers.
By some interpretation, you know that even if it is by one, because the constitution so merely because the president has the power to appoint does not mean he's supreme. He derives that power from the constitution. That is why the speaker says that what we know in Ghana is the supremacy of the constitution and not of the judiciary. So why is it that the Chief Justice could not compel the speaker to go and sit? If she was so worried and she was ranting, why is Parliament not sitting? Why did she not compel the speaker to reconvene Parliament for Parliament to sit? Because the constitution does not give her those powers. Because she doesn't have the power to call for a meeting of Parliament. So after all, it is not the supremacy of the judiciary. And in any case, if she comes out with a verdict, which we are all expecting, that she will say that, oh, by some magical interpretation, these people have not vacated their seats, so they are supposed to be members of Parliament. What can she do beyond that?
But that's why she's given a stay.
No, but at that time, the stay will no longer be operating because then the substantial judgments will come. What can she do? She can only but have declared that this is what the constitution means. What happens thereafter? What can she do? She can't do anything about it.
No, she can do something about it. How do you mean? If a court gives a ruling and you don't abide by the ruling,
court doesn't enforce its own ruling. The court only gives ruling. It cannot on itself enforce its own ruling.
But what is ruling for? What is ruling for?
So that is where the separation of powers come in. That you have the power to give the ruling.
Yes.
So
and
now,
and who received that ruling has the obligation to abide by the ruling that's been given by the court.
That is very true. And the ruling is that those people would have been members of Parliament. Beyond that, what else? Beyond that, what else? Whether Parliament will decide to adjourn Senate or after the election, she cannot say that I'm issuing a mandamus compelling the Speaker of Parliament to call the House. If there is no quorum in the House, or they do not have the numbers, or will she make an order directing members of Parliament to leave their constituency to come? Because these MPP MPs, they don't look so serious with the business of the House. They certainly don't care about what happens. They are campaigning. And you know the funny thing? Everywhere you go, they are campaigning skirt and blouse. They are saying, oh, vote for John Mahama. Oh, we know Okoboy. The last time Okoboy even admitted it.
That's an allegation.
Oh, Okoboy admitted it on your show.
He says
yes, he
it's
says
not true.
Please,
not
take
true.
your time. You
It's
can't
not
even,
true. I was producing the show.
take
It's
your
not
time.
true.
He said that he's a politician and that he knows the dynamics. So when he goes to a certain part, he will tell them that, yes, I know you want to vote for. We all speak Ghana. We all watch the show.
So he said it in Ghana.
He said it in English. He said it when he was on the show with some. It's not just Okoboy.
No.
It's not just, I'll show you. I'll give you some posters.
So it's Okoboy and who?
MPP parliamentary candidates who have even printed John Mahama's image on their banners.
It's not those who are going independent.
No.